Good morning, everyone. This is Ross Lee, Director of the Daviess County Parks and Recreation, and we're here at Yellow Creek Park on such a beautiful day. Hopefully everyone will be able to get an opportunity to be able to get out and to be able to enjoy the beauty of nature, the sound of these songbirds that are singing to us this morning. But it's also an opportunity for us to be able to promote an upcoming event here at the Jim Lambert Pioneer Village here in Yellow Creek Park. For those that have not been able to enjoy the Pioneer Village, we're located at 5710 Kentucky Highway 144 here in Thrueston, Kentucky, just east of Owensboro on Highway 144. The Jim Lambert Pioneer Village is a spectacular opportunity, historical structures that came from all over Daviess County, Kentucky, that was the original vision of our Commissioner Jim Lambert, and thus the Jim Lambert Pioneer Village. Commissioner Lambert years ago knew that these different log structures existed and wanted to be able to obviously save those. They're a structure that's kind of a dying breed, if you will, and so through the efforts of Commissioner Lambert and the Daviess County Fiscal Court, obviously we've been able to salvage these individual structures and to be able to bring them here for preservation. And so today we're going to talk a little bit with a couple of members from the Kentucky Room at the Daviess County Public Library about an event that's going to be scheduled here in the Jim Lambert Pioneer Village in a couple of weeks, actually on Saturday, April the 30th, from noon until 4 p.m. Bob, you're with the Kentucky Room and very excited about this opportunity that's coming up to be able to not only bring people into the Pioneer Village, but to be able to commemorate the anniversary of the Civil War, the American Civil War. Can you tell us just a little bit about what's going to be taking place that day, Bob?
Sure. We've been working on this program for about a year, trying to get everything to come together, and it's coming together just like we hoped. We're looking at a more of a living history event. There's not a battle or that type of thing going on, but for people to come and wander through the village, and we're going to have a Civil War encampment back behind the village here, in which they did. They camped outside of villages, and so we have village people. Not the musical group, but anyway, we'll have people that live in the village area, and they're going to be dressed, and some of them are going to be making presentations during the day on different topics. But we want you to be able to come and wander or meander around through and see how they lived and what they had to go through during that time. We take all of our luxuries for granted these days. So this will give visitors an opportunity to see how life was at that time. President Lincoln's going to be here and give us a closing address, and we have Governor Buckner who's going to give us an opening address. So it'll be very interesting. Some historians, some demonstrations on life events or life types of skills that had to be done during that time. Sure. We'll have some food trucks down in the parking lot, and so if you need some ice cream or a drink or some barbecue, that'll be available for you. We're going to start about 12 o'clock and run until 4. There's a tintype photographer. There was a very good story in the Messenger Inquirer this week about the photographer and what he's going to be doing and doing demonstrations and actually doing some photography. So we're excited to get this going, anxious to make sure everything works out. We're not doing rain dances right now, so we're going to do it rain or shine. You know, they lived rain or shine, so that's where we're at with it at this point.
Sounds good, Bob. Well, Savannah, I know you're with the Kentucky Room at the Public Library, and you've been there for a little while now. Can you tell us a little bit about what this type of an event is like for the Kentucky Room, obviously, and maybe tell us a little bit about the Kentucky Room in general?
Well, the Kentucky Room, we're a local history and genealogy archive. We're a department of the Daviess County Public Library. Part of our mission is to get information and history into the hands of Daviess County citizens. And an event like this is a perfect way to do that, where we want to get as much information as possible, as much historically accurate information as possible into our citizens' hands. And we love getting other historians, reenactors, people to come in and talk. So part of you can always come into the Kentucky Room if you've never been in there. We're on the south side of the library, and we do research for free. I think we have one of the largest genealogy collections in western Kentucky. I think we're second or third, I think. But we do research all the time, and we love talking history. So if you want to talk history, you can always come in.
That sounds good, Savannah. For more information with regards to the event, how can people find out more information, maybe a phone number to be able to reach out to?
Our phone number is 270-691-1883. We're on social media. It's DCPL Kentucky Room, and you can always email us, call, message us on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that.
Sounds good, Savannah. Bob, can you tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are about maybe having to have lived in the mid 19th century? How difficult that probably would have been, and I know we've talked a lot about the village itself, and so kind of what this event represents as far as I go. How challenging you think that would be?
It's hard for me to fathom. I know from everything that I've read and from my family history and the hardships that people had to go through during that time. The country was in turmoil, brothers against brothers and families against families, and just total unsure of what's going to be going on the next day. No way to know. And then having to adapt to the environment in which they were. A lot of the soldiers had to live outside, some 365 days a year living outside, and having to adapt their camp life. And that's one thing that they're going to be portraying. Medicine was as we know it, was in its infancy. They had no concept of hopefully they'll be better here, but they had no concept of sanitary conditions, and would build their camp on streams and use the streams for restrooms and also to get their drinking water out of. So, more people died during the Civil War from illnesses and disease than they did from the actual battles. So, and so a lot was learned from those experiences. And it's been said that before the Civil War, we were a collection of separate states. We didn't have we weren't, even though we were the United States, but each state was more of its own individual entity. And then after the Civil War, we became the United States as a country. And that happened because of the sacrifices of a lot of people. And that's what we want to show and portray and have people understand is what these people had to actually go through and live like, and understand that most of them could have cared less about the politics of what was going on between the North and the South, and everyone has a different understanding of why we had this war and why this war happened and so forth. So, and we're not going to argue those points. We don't want to get into that. We want to just make people understand, or not understand, but get a feeling of what it was like to live at that time.
Absolutely. Well, I do think that we all have our own stories. I was made aware of a great-great-grandfather, Charles Bourne Lee, that was captured at the battle down at Fort Donelson. And we've been able to track a lot of his records, a lot of that family history. And fortunately enough, he was captured at Fort Donelson and taken to a camp in Ohio. And at the end of the war, he then eventually made his way back down to central Arkansas in Lone Oak. And was married and had my great-grandfather that I knew very well as a young man. And it's a very interesting story. So we certainly want to be able to invite everyone out to the Jim Lambert Pioneer Village on Saturday, April the 30th. again from noon until 4. It's a golden opportunity to be able to not only learn, you know, about the history of the Civil War, the history of this pioneer village, and its you know, traces to individual farms and folks here in Daviess County, to be able to lay hands on these logs that they had to fell themselves and chop with the broadaxe, and to be able to put in, you know, these notches and grooves. It's just a phenomenal opportunity. Again, if you need any information, please find us on the Daviess County Fiscal Court Facebook account, on the social media accounts, that of the Daviess County Public Library with the Kentucky Room. We couldn't do this without folks like Bob and Savannah in their organization. Obviously, they bring this Pioneer Village to life, and we're very excited about that. Love partnering with them to be able to make this thing a success. If you have any questions, or you could reach out to the Kentucky Room, or you could call the Parks Department. Our phone number is 270-685-6142. And again, we hope to be able to see you here at the Jim Lambert Pioneer Village on April the 30th from noon until 4. Again, if you have any questions, just let us know. Thanks a lot to the both of you all. I appreciate it.